If your opponent begins the game by moving the queen to d4, and you respond by moving your pawn to d4, your opponent may play a move that will look kind of crazy. It is moving the pawn here to c4. And this is called the Queen's Gambit. And if your opponent ever moves the queen to c4, my advice to you would be not to take the pawn with your pawn, but instead back up the pawn either with the knight here on g6 or by moving the pawn up here to e6. And the reason why that is that if you were, it's called a gambit, which means it looks like you're getting a piece for free, but you're actually not getting a piece for free. So let's say that you moved your pawn here to c4. If you were to move your pawn here to c4 and capture, what white would normally do then is either move the pawn, we'll just say, let's say they either move up the pawn one square here so that the knight is being attacked by the bishop, or they might move the knight here, blocking the pawn from going forward and then eventually revealing it. But eventually what's going to happen is that pawn is going to fall, and so it looks like black is getting a piece for free, but what ends up happening is that white will get two pawns that will affect the center of the board, and black will only have one pawn that can affect the center of the board. And a lot of times in chess, whatever side can dominate the four central squares is usually the person who's going to win. So that is the reason why black doesn't want to capture here on c4. Black instead wants to keep the pawns towards the center so that black can have an equal amount of opportunity to control those four squares in the center.